we will start with the first topic. And the first topic you had to do were physical features. Physical features of the region, and the region of the physical features that we're talking about are Caribbean, South America. So any physical features that you found in Colombia, Venezuela, or the Guianas. Okay, so before we describe these physical features, let's kind of list some of them that you came up with. What's some physical features you saw? Matthew? Okay, so we've got islands. Izzy? The Andes Mountains. Calvin?
The world's largest waterfall.
Get the waterfall, and what do we call that?
Angel Falls.
Yeah, Angel Falls. There's got to be more than just those three things. Jackson?
They have the largest lake.
Largest lake. Matthew?
Orinoco's River.
Good, the Orinoco River. You have any other physical features that you came up with? Julie? Got the plains, and, well, I guess the plains not just, there's more than that. Ashton? Say that again. Guiana Highlands. You have two. You could take 3 wrong. Is there something else? Remember those grasslands? It's a flat area, grasslands. What do we call that, Josie? The Llanos region. Yeah, just catch it. Oh, okay. Any others that you can think of or saw there? We got the Llanos, the Andes. There's lots of different. Besides the Orinoco River, there's many other rivers that you could have probably written down. You don't have to necessarily. What's that? No, not for this region.
Oh, that's the region.
That would be the region south, farther south. Angel Falls, Guiana Highlands, the Llanos. Good. Now, tomorrow, for the test, I'm probably going to ask you to list, a certain number. I'm probably going to give you a certain number you're going to need to know of these and maybe describe them. So if you chose the Llanos to tell me about, you would want to tell me that it's grasslands, it's flat, it's floods. If you tell me about Angel Falls, you could tell me where it's located at that national park and that it's the highest waterfall and maybe how high it falls. Orinoco River, you could tell me about that and that it's the longest river in the region. Parana is in there.
Empty out into something.
Into the Amazon.
Amazon.
Yep, and it
That was a question.
flows into the Amazon. So you're going to want to be able to describe each. Now, I'm going to leave that part up to you. So you might want to choose probably 3 or 4 that you want to focus on and be really good at them. And not now, if you just put for the area rivers, that's not going to work. I want you to be specific. So name the river if it's Orinoco. And don't put mountains. You want to say the Andes. So you're going to want to be specific. So make sure that you're very specific in what you choose for your physical feature. Okay. Remember on page 83, it talks about, it's got a map of all the physical features. So I'm going to jot this down just to let you know. Page 83, there's a map of the physical features, so you can always look at that. And that'll help you. You can see where they're located. Section 1 is all about physical geography, so you can get even more information if you need. But like I said, I would focus on 3 or 4 specific features. So figure out which 3 or 4 that you know really, really well. All right, focus on them. I would say I'm good at that, and that. Okay, and then start describing them. Physical features. All right, focus on 3 or 4 specific. Use section 1. You should be good on that. All right, perfect. Let's move in our book over to page 86-ish. And we're going to talk about Colombia. Hold on. Okay, so you're going to want to know some things about Colombia, specifically who colonized it, a little bit about the culture, what it's like today there. So let's start with who colonized it. We know there was a group. Well, first of all, who was the group that was there first? What group was there first, Calvin?
Chipcha.
Okay, so the Chibcha are the native people. So the Chibcha were there first, all right? The Chibcha are your native, and they were there first, okay? And then there was a group that came along and colonized the region. They took over, they conquered the Chibcha, and then they colonized. Izzy? Good. So the Spanish came over, colonized the region. Okay, and they came over in search of what? What was it that they were in search of? Julie? Yeah. They were looking for gold. What else did they want to do? They came over for one other reason. Matthew?
Expand their empire.
They wanted to expand their empire. So they conquered the Chibcha, made them work for them, brought over Africans to make them work for them, all right, and all the while colonizing the region. And then we've got our independence struggle. Spanish colonized, yep. All right. So if you flip it to 88, that's where it talked about some culture. And one of the other things that I'm going to want you to know is the culture. Okay? So, what can you tell me about the culture of Colombia? Jackson?
Their music is like traditional African songs and dances on the Caribbean coast and South American Indian music in remote areas of the Andes.
Okay. Okay, so you've got some African songs and dances. You've got some native songs and dances, Calvin.
The main religion is Roman Catholic.
You said Catholic religion. What else did you say?
So the religion is primarily Roman Catholic.
What?
So the religion is mostly.
Okay. Please. All right. Ashton.
Soccer.
What?
Soccer is a sport.
Soccer would be a sport that they play. The tejo, the ring game. Julie?
Their official language is Spanish.
Good. Their official language is Spanish. Good. Now, just like the physical features, I asked you to be specific. I'm going to ask you, as far as culture goes, I want you to be specific. I don't want to see things like just the word religion or just the word sports or just music. I want you to be specific as far as religion. What religion? What sports? What kind of music? So you need to be very specific when talking about culture, okay? And with the part about today, I'm going to look that you understand how their culture has affected their life today. Well, their culture has affected their life today by the fact that they practice the Catholic religion, the fact that they speak Spanish, the fact that they play soccer, because the Spanish brought all of these things. All right, so that tells you that their culture has affected life today because the Spanish brought all those things over during the history time, and that is how it affects their life today. But again, you're going to want to be specific when talking about certain things of the culture. Again, just like the physical features, I would focus on 3 or 4 parts of the culture. Okay? Focus on maybe 3 or 4 of the different parts of culture that you're really pretty good at. Okay? I'm not going to have you you're not going to need to know anything about their economy or their civil wars and government. You're not going to need to know any of that stuff. Okay? So, that's Colombia. Questions on Colombia before we move on to the next? All right, flip it over to 90. All right, Venezuela and the Guianas. And what I'm going to have you do here is kind of a compare and contrast. So I'm just going to make a chart. You can do it however you want. Okay? So let's see. Okay, let's start with give me something about Venezuela. Give me a fact about Venezuela, Kylie.
It's home to many South American Indian tribes.
Okay, you've got many native tribes. Calvin?
Many people make a living by farming.
Many people make a living by farming. Julie? Caracas is the capital. And we'll come back to the capital a little bit. Izzy?
They were conquered by the Spanish in the early 1500s.
Conquered by the Spanish. Jackson?
Oil industry.
Oil industry is pretty large for them. Calvin?
Had a referendum.
Referendum,
A what? A referendum?
which is your recall vote. Izzy?
The Spanish came to Venezuela hoping to find gold in her.
Okay, looking for gold. The Spanish were coming there. Julie?
Officially independent in 1830.
Okay, independent. Okay. And how about the Guianas? What can you tell me about the Guianas? All 3 of them. Jackson?
Dense tropical rainforests.
There are some tropical rainforests there. What else? Let's talk about the people. So here we got Spanish. Well, they have native people there too. Julie? Very diverse population. Anything else? Jackson?
Flat, fertile plains along the coast.
Flat plains along the coast. Julie?
They harvest sugar and ice.
Calvin?
1/3 of the population lives in Georgetown.
Okay. I'm not going to throw that on there, but that's all right. Okay. So, what I'm really... Okay, so your topic I gave you was to compare and contrast. What I want you to focus on for tomorrow is how they are different. So look at what the things you wrote down. If you did a chart, look at how they're different and be able to tell me what is the major thing that you think makes them different from each other. We talked about this big time. What is the major thing? I can see right now what I would put for the biggest thing that makes them different. Remember the bell ringer we did, what that was about? What is the major thing that sets them apart from each other? Josie?
Different rulers.
What?
I think there's different rulers.
Not necessarily. Word that a little differently. Dominic?
They speak all those different languages.
Yeah, you've got Spanish people living in Venezuela, and you've got more of a diverse population living in the Guianas. That would be your major difference. And then when you're pointing that major difference out, you want to point out why that's a difference and why is there a diverse population in the Guianas and a Spanish population in Venezuela. Do you know? No? Why is the population different in each place? Why is there a Spanish population in Colombia and Venezuela? Julie? Because of who they were conquered by. Okay? Another difference I see is oil is a big industry in Venezuela, sugar and rice over here. Okay? Another difference is Venezuela's independent, French Guiana's not. Okay? So those are some things that you want to decide. And again, focus on how they're different and probably focus on about 3 ways. Okay? So I'm telling you some good things that you're going to want to make sure you have down if you don't have them down. Okay? How they're different. 3 ways.
They're different.
Probably about 3 ways they're different. And why. Okay? All right. Those, Jeff, that was 3. That was your 3rd task. So after class, we're going to do something together. Okay. That was the 3 things you had for your review. We're going to add now, in your notes, or in your review, I would add this. We're going to put the capitals. Whoops. That's an A. Looks like a Q. Okay? That's the capital. You need something?
What was the 3rd difference? Did you tell the 3rd difference?
Well, no, I just, we listed a bunch.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was.
Okay. So let's start with the Venezuela. What is the capital of Venezuela, Calvin? Caracas. All right. Venezuela's capital is Caracas. Colombia. You need to go back to the map if you need to. It's been a little bit Blake. Nope. If you go back to page 88, it's on there, Calvin. It's not Cartagena. That's a city. Julie? Bogota. Bogota. Guyana, Jackson.
It's.
This is the one that we gave you a hint on.
Starts with a G.
Oh, Georgetown.
It's a college.
So an easy way to remember this one, G, G. And then we've got Suriname.
I keep pronouncing that Suriname. I don't know why.
Blake.
Paramaribo.
Paramaribo. French Guiana. Capital of French Guiana. Izzy? Cayenne. And then if we talk about French Guiana, who rules French Guiana? They're not independent. Sarah? Okay, so there's your capitals. You're going to need to know the capitals, and you're also going to need to know who rules French Guiana. Know where each country is located on a map. By the way, that will not be there. I will be taking that off for those of you that sit closer to the map. Yesterday it was funny. We were taking a quiz, and I think the quiz had something about a capital on it.
Yeah,
2 capitals or something. And I was watching one of the students. So that is your review. Now, I am going to, and by the way, I am moving the test to Thursday. Tomorrow's a short day. I want to give you a full class period to take it since it's an essay test. So that's going to give us more time, more time to study. You're going to get an extra day. It is an essay test. So I am, and I'm going to give this to you at the end of class today. I'm going to wait until class is almost over because I want you to do this outside of class. I'm going to give you a note card. And everyone's going to use the same size note card. And you are allowed to put anything on that note card you want, front and back side, and you can use that note card and only that note card for the test on Thursday. if you come to class and you have forgotten your note card, I am not writing passes to go get them. You forget it, you don't get to use it. You don't fill it out, you don't get to use it. This is another way, a good technique, that even if you aren't allowed to ever use a note card on the test, if you use this technique to study, it'll help you. There were a lot of students last year when we did this test that said they never ended up using their note card because as they were studying and writing the stuff down, it started to click. So you write what you can, write as big or small as you want, get what you need. If you know all the capitals, don't write them on your note card because you're wasting space. Don't write the stuff you know, write the stuff that you need, to know the most. Is it? Yeah. Yeah, write whatever you want. If you want to write the capitals because you don't know them, go ahead. If you're the one you really struggle on the most is Venezuela for a capital, just write that one and you know the rest, okay? Don't write the stuff that you know, all right? And you'll want to organize it. I would organize it by topic, okay? And if you come back the next day with a bigger note card, you're not using it. You're using the note card I give you, okay? So organize it by topic. Organize it by geography. Colombia, Venezuela, however you want, okay? So, I'm going to here now put on the board the journal entries that you're going to need to know because we're turning in our journal on Thursday as well. So, you might want to get to your title page so that you know exactly what needs to be on there. 1 second. Right. Here is the stuff that should be on your journal, and I want this listed on your title page. You should have a title page, obviously. Your class was the only class that did the Chapter 4 reading focus. We need a bell ringer. Section 1, terms and notes. Section 2, bell ringer and notes. Section 3, bell ringer, terms and notes, and then the review. Those are the things. Plus, I will be grading on the organization. And when I say organization, I mean in order, but I also mean when we did bullets, did you indent when you were supposed to? Did you go back out? Because some people just go bullet, 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 and there's a reason we indent. So that's what I'm talking about too, and I reminded you quite a bit this chapter on doing those things. All right, so you'll want to get these things down. We'll turn this in Thursday. We'll take the test Thursday and be done with Chapter 4. Questions? All right, let's use our last of this time wisely, please.